Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Justin here again, aka Justin Lambchop, on Twitter with my good friend Kanishka, who you all will recognize from my previous videos. And today we are just going to make a casual discussion slash recap video covering the 2017 Skate America competition. If you have recognized that, or if you've noticed that I haven't been uploading videos lately, it's because I injured myself 2 weeks ago at the gym and had some really bad shoulder and arm pain. Thank you so much to everyone on Twitter who reached out to me and sent me well wishes. Today is the first day in 2 weeks that I've been able to sleep uninterrupted and feel somewhat comfortable. So I'm excited to finally talk about skating on video. Kanishka, are you ready?
I am, and first of all, I just want to say I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. So,
Thank you so much. Okay, let's talk about the men's disciplines first. Maybe to no surprise to most of us, Nathan Chen won the gold medal here, and extra congratulations to him because he becomes the first American man to win 2 gold medals on his Grand Prix events since 2007 when Johnny Weir did it last. Great short program, not so great free program. Kanishka, what did you make of his performance at this competition?
I think a few recaps or previews prior that I was a guest on your vlog. I think I was a little bit nitpicky as far as Nathan Chen, docking him on like his jump landings and spin levels. However, this season I've been really impressed with his growth in that territory. And in both the short program and also the free program here, he landed a beautiful quad lutz triple toe. And his spins have looked better than they did last season. And I think to much of what the rest of the audience and the fan base of figure skating has seen, he's also growing as far as artistic merit. What do you think?
I think he's definitely got the overall package now. Whereas before he was working towards it, a lot of people kept saying he's, focusing a lot on the technical, leaving out the artistry. I think this season he's done the perfect job of blending the two together. And I think the best example of that is in the short program. Like the music helps a lot, but you can tell he plays to the crowd. He has like very specific attention to the details of the choreography, even the steps before his first jump, which was the quad lutz triple toe, is such amazing. I think that's good enough to be a step sequence. I know it's not, it's just, choreographic moves, but it's so impressive. I think he skates upward and outward more, and you could tell the jumps are not his focus, and that's great. However, he is still such a great technical skater because his triple axel in the short program was dicey. I'm surprised he was able to save that landing and stay on his feet. And I'm not sure if it was a blade issue because a lot of us saw in the warm up beforehand, his coach Rafael Aratunian was adjusting the blade. So I'm not sure if that made things better or worse, but it was good to see Nathan fighting for the jumps in the short program. Long program is a different story. Um, 2 falls, a lot of pops, no triple axel attempts. He actually lost the long program to Adam Rippon and even scored lower than Adam in program component marks. But I still say this is a respectable free program skate from Nathan. He did the job to win the competition, and he should have a confidence boost going into the Grand Prix final. That's
I
my
think,
opinion. Yeah.
yeah, I think one thing that impressed me most about Nathan is that after the free program, he was interviewed by NBC by either Andrea Joyce or Tracy Wilson. I always get those two
Me
confused.
too.
And I think he acknowledged that it was a disappointment for him for not being able to skate the programs that he obviously has trained. However, he's going to take what he was able to produce here and work on it and improve for the Grand Prix final in a few weeks. And I think that says a lot about how much of a competitor he really is.
Sometimes I think it's good to have some not so great performances every now and then because it keeps your body in check, right? Like you're not comfortable, you're not complacent. Like Nathan knows that he has to be perfect.
Definitely.
And Let's see, shall we go ahead and talk about Adam, who I think had the free program of the night. I think he gets a gold medal for being able to skate after dislocating his shoulder. He did that by taking a really brutal fall on that quadlet's attempt on his shoulder. And then he got up, looked at his coach. He said he popped it back in and went on to skate a phenomenal program.
Yeah, like Adam has really impressed me over the years. I think when he first came on the senior scene back in 2007,
9?
2008,
Oh, okay.
2009, something like that, right? He was still having struggling with the triple axel. Like confidence was probably mixed emotions going on in his head. But he has really come to his own. And I think that these two programs that he's getting to this year, which are the same as last year, are totally and utterly Adam. And I think I'm not just speaking for myself, but I think for a lot of people who watch skating, that free program to the birds is something that, I don't know, just gives me chills every time I watch it. And to see him skate so well after that mistake on the quadlets and the shoulder issue, that shows how much he has grown over the years. And congratulations to him for making the Grand Prix final for the second year in
Second
a row.
time. Yeah. I think I think at this point we should assume that Adam and Nathan will be on the Olympic team. They did qualify for the Grand Prix final. Obviously, we have to see the results of that competition, but I think qualifying, says a lot about your chances of making the Olympic team. I don't know. I'm speechless. Like, I don't have a lot of words because I'm just so happy. I just feel emotion that's hard to express through words. And we all know this as skating fans. An Olympic year is so hard. Any skating fan who watches Skate America this year will be able to see that from different athletes in different disciplines. Like, an Olympic year is tough, and Adam is holding it together, pushing through. He also said in the interview that he really wants to be on the Olympic team and be part of the team event. So that's an interesting statement from him.
Yeah, he's training harder than ever too. Like, I love how NBC is like saying like he's going for runs. Like he's really putting in the extra effort because his ultimate goal is to make that Olympic team.
Yeah. You know what? So he's fighting for that Olympic spot while still having fun and being himself. Like, that short program, he owns. Like, that's not trying too hard. That's just Adam being Adam. And the judges are, it seems like they are starting to respect that program by awarding him with higher PCS than they have in previous seasons.
That's very true. Yep.
Okay, so next up we have Maxim Kovtun, right? Or no, Sergei Voronov.
Yep.
Maxim Kovtun had to withdraw, unfortunately, after the short program. But so Sergei Voronov skated relatively clean here. I think I said in my last video about him that he's not my style of skating. I think he lacks an artistic component, but you got to give the guy credit for being able to skate clean, being able to be relatively consistent. And you know what? That pays off when you have some of the top guns at making mistakes. And he had a gold medal at his last Grand Prix and a bronze medal here, and that qualifies him for the final. A lot of people are shocked by that, but hey, we have to reward consistency when it's due.
I also have to say I really admire someone who stays in the sport for a long period of time. And I know that Sergei Voronov has been on the scene for quite some time. And it seems like he's having his dream season, winning a Grand Prix event, medaling at another one, and making the final. He should definitely be considered a favorite for the second spot on the Russian Olympic team. And I agree with you, Justin, that I'm not the hugest fan of his programs or his style of skating. However, as someone who some people may have ripped off in the past, the fact that he is redeeming himself and qualifying for the Grand Prix final and still hungry, that just, I don't know. I respect a skater that is willing to like put that fight in themselves to compete season after season.
Me too. Another skater who gave a fight at Skate America was Boynag Jin of China. So most people probably realize that he did not attempt the quadlets because he had sprained ankles. So that was news to us during the practice sessions because I think his signature is really going for the quadlets in both the short and long to contend with Nathan and some of the other top men in the world. So it was actually kind of strange to not see him go for it, but he did what he had to do. I'm surprised that he still decided to skate. What did you think of his performances?
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing because every time I think prior to Skate America, everyone was putting Boyang Jin as definitely someone who is medal worthy at this competition. However, with no quadlets triple toe, which is something that he's kind of like made into like a signature move, I think it kind of held him back. And I think that's why it was so close between him and his compatriot Han Yan. And not to just steer away from Boyan Jin, but it was kind of nice to see Han Yan make a comeback because his skating really is appealing, and it seems like he's on the verge of a comeback.
That's correct. Do you remember, did he qualify for the Grand Prix final?
Boyang or Han?
Boyang.
I don't think he qualified for the final this
Oh
season.
no, he did not. What I was thinking of was because Maxim Kovtun won a bronze medal here, he bumped out Jason Brown's opportunity to be at the final. That's what I was thinking of.
Got it.
Which, by the way, unfortunate for Jason. That would have been like monumental to have three American men at the Grand Prix final in an Olympic year.
Yeah, this wasn't meant to be, unfortunately.
Okay, someone else we should mention is Daniel Samoan from Israel. Another unfortunate incident of taking a brutally hard fall mid program and totally dislocating your shoulder. That was hard to watch. So I was recovering in bed while I was watching skating. Wow, my shoulders started to hurt just by watching these guys fall on them, Adam and Daniel. And I told myself, no more complaining, Justin, because these guys are out there competing and trying to push through it.
Yeah, this season it seems like, or at least at this competition, there's so many withdrawals, so many injuries, and that's kind of unfortunate because it's so close to the major, like I'm going to call them grand slams of figure skating. You know, like the national championships,
Yeah.
the Olympics, the World Championships, and obviously the Grand Prix final as well. Like all of this is coming in the next couple months, and it's not the best time to get an injury. And it was very unfortunate. And I'm sure Daniel was disappointed considering that he was like fifth or sixth after the short program. So he was still considered someone that could be on the podium, and just to have this injury was not great for him. But we wish him a very speedy recovery, and hopefully he can redeem himself for the European Championships, which should be coming in a few months.
Yes, anyone who is injured and trying to make an Olympic team this season, I only wish the best for them. Like, I can only imagine what they're going through. So I think we're ready to move on to the ladies. First of all, we can congratulate Satoko Miyahara of Japan for winning the gold medal here. To my surprise, some of us had written her off as potentially not even making the Olympic team for Japan, but she proved all of us wrong at Lake Placid. Very impressive, landing all of her jumps, and if I remembered on the protocols, zero under rotations. Don't get me wrong, jumps still looked tiny, not high, but she had a job to do, and she did it like a robot. But she did not skate like one. I think she seems to be more of an artist, more expressive than I remember. It may be like her choice of music, but I think how Satoko performed at Skate America has been the best she's looked in the past few years.
Yeah, I think the Japanese media, like a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago, they were talking about her nutrition. I'm not sure exactly what the situation was there, so maybe one of your um, viewers, Justin, can fill me up on it. But I remember there was something to deal with her nutrition and everything. But here at Skate America, it looked like she was back to her normal self. I really love her short program to the Memoirs of a Geisha soundtrack by John Williams. I think that she interprets that music very well. I did think that some of the landings on her jumps were a little bit more iffy than the technical panel here was calling. However, this definitely does I don't know, what do you call it? Spice up the Japanese nationals in 2 weeks.
So many girls fighting for two spots.
But Satoko Miyahara is now in the mix of things.
That's correct. She did not qualify for the Grand Prix final, unfortunately, but who did was her teammate Wakaba Higuchi, which I'm so excited about. I'll talk about that in another video. I think I'm going to film a Grand Prix final preview video very shortly, so we'll talk about that there. And then, were you able to see Kaori Sakamoto?
Yeah, her jumps are very impressive, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Still very juniorish to some extent.
I was gonna say, my take on Kaori is that I'm glad she did well. I'm actually impressed she did well, but I'm not wowed by her overall skating. I think there still needs to be some more development, but kudos to her for being able to compete. These youngsters are able to compete because they don't feel the pressure as some of the veterans do.
And it seems like their jump content and their technical ability is really what is propelling them to the standings. Because we
Mhm.
saw that with young Bradie Tinnell here at Skate America as well. Like, on a technical aspect, they are very proficient and they can do these triples like it's nothing. However, overall, maybe it's just my own opinion, I feel like they can still grow artistically, but again, that comes with time and more performing in front of an audience. But I was impressed that she was able to hold on to that pressure going into the free program in second place.
Same here. So you know what's funny is that I very much dislike, especially in a short program, when the skaters completely backload their program. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad that a non-Russian is finally doing it. Despite that it's not my favorite thing to see. I'm like, okay, well at least, it's not limited to the Russians now. I don't know why. That's an interesting feeling that I had. But
Yes,
we can move on to Bradie Tinnell, the surprise of Skate America, right?
yeah, to some extent, yeah. I think Phil Hirsch is going to say, well, he predicted this all along. I saw on Twitter, like, he's like, I'm glad I wrote this out. But yeah, it was a surprise to me to see her be on the podium, let alone do two clean programs here.
Mm-hmm. It was also a surprise to me. So a lot of people contact me on Twitter and tell me, "What do you think of Bradie? I think she's a dark horse." I have a hard time predicting someone to do well when they don't have the longest track record of doing so. And obviously, I don't like to compare how someone performs at a senior B competition with a Grand Prix competition. So I said, you know what? I'm giving Bradie a blank slate, so I'm going to place her somewhere in the middle. Wow, she was very impressive. I see a lot of people talking about how she's the next new big thing leading up to the Olympic Games, but you know my opinion on this. I'm not very dramatic. I always like to be pretty like level-headed and non-emotional, either high or low. So it's just one competition. We need to see what she produces in the future. I think she has like one more senior B and then nationals. But I'm not going to take any credit away from her. She deserved this bronze medal because she was so amazing with her jumps. The short program, that is a high short program score. It was over 67 for someone on their first Grand Prix outing.
Definitely.
And I think she actually has the highest free skate score of all of the American ladies this season on the Grand Prix as well.
Yes, I believe that is correct, Justin. For I wonder if she, for U.S. nationals, if she'll change anything as far as choreography goes, and maybe backloads her program like the Russians do, or just the young ones coming up, because that will definitely help her in the long run as far as com- like competing with the top guns to get on the podium. And I think that's the name of the game. Like, as someone who lives in the United States, I take pride in our skaters, but at the same time, I also see what we're competing against. So as we go through another Olympic cycle here, I hope for the next Olympic cycle we start almost like conforming in some ways to that whole backloading agenda, because at the end of the day, the name of the game is to get on that podium. And right now, it looks like the only way you can get on the podium is if you backload your programs, whether it be the short program, the free program, or both. So I don't know. I hope the United States girls are taking notice. Like, it's okay to backload a program. Just train that same way that the Russians do.
You know, it's funny. I don't think I've said this on camera yet, so I'll say it now. You know, I'm not a fan of the backloading because for me, I think the purpose of being rewarded the extra 10%, in my opinion, is that you put your most difficult jumps on the second half to maximize the points. You know, like your triple lutz, triple toes, and whatnot. And then you do your sows, triple sows and toes in the first half. But that's not how skaters are utilizing it, you know?
They want all the elements to be in the backload so then they can get that extra 10%. And I think that's kind of like the way that this sport is progressing.
Yeah, you know, we'll just have to accept it because remember when many people were outraged by the news that vocals were being allowed for singles and pairs in competitions. I think most of us are over that now. We'll get over this, hopefully.
I hope so, yeah, because we are heading into a new wave of figure skating. So
That's true. So someone else we have to talk about at Skate America is my girl Ashley Wagner. Really, really unfortunate situation of her having to withdraw from the competition in the middle of her long program due to, is it an ankle infection? She was diagnosed with an ankle infection not too long ago that took her off of the ice for a week. And then she was hoping to skate through the pain here, but it did not work out that way. I'd say smart choice of her to withdraw. Why risk injuring yourself even further when your end goal is nationals or Olympics?
yeah, it was really unfortunate to see. I think a lot of people have their theory about her withdrawal from the free program and the competition. However, it was
Conspiracy theory.
series, yeah. However, it was really evident, even in the short program, that she had the compression sock and that it was bothering her. Otherwise, I don't see her really having those same sketchy landings on her triple triple. It's usually under rotated, but not so much where it looks like it's a major cheat. So at least from my perspective, I could see that there was something that was bugging her because I don't really pay attention to the big headline news, honestly. So when the news of the ankle infection came out, I was just like, it makes sense. And I know there are people going to say like, oh, she just did not want to lose to Bradie Tinnell, or like she knew that she was not going to make the podium. I don't think that's what it is. I think that she knew that she needed to be here to get her programs out one more time before nationals or Grand Prix final if she was going to make it. And I think it was the smartest decision that she could make to
Yeah.
withdraw.
One thing I wonder though is if she would take time away from nationals. And so if she were to skip nationals to recover and ask for a bye to the Olympic team.
I don't think she'll do that this time around. I think that knowing her history from the last Olympics, I think that she will try to just use these next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, to really just heal. Because as an athlete who's 26 years old now, she can probably rely on her experience. I know they say that all the time on NBC, but it's true. Like when you have competed at the top of the sport for as many years as she has, I think she just needs to trust her training. And I think that whether she makes it to the Olympics or not, I think that she knows her body more than anyone else. And hopefully we will see her at the Olympics because she is a performer. She is classy. And I would love to see her just put it out on the line one last time.
Absolutely. I will put this out there right now. I do think Ashley Wagner will be on the Olympic team. Let's just say, to be honest, I don't know how nationals will go, but I'm confident that Ashley will be on the team. It sounds like USFSA is going to take three major competitions into account on who makes the Olympic team, and it's going to be results based off of this year's nationals, last year's nationals, last year's worlds, and this year's Grand Prix final, which doesn't matter because no American lady qualified.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Ashley was at the other competitions. Uh, she was not great at worlds, but she wasn't disastrous either. I don't know. I have a hard time putting into words today. Maybe I just can't talk today. I've been too injured. But I believe Ashley will be on the Olympic team. Not sure about Bradie. I think she'll be considered. Not sure about Karen, who, by the way, she also competed here today or this weekend.
Yeah, like,
Going back to old programs, still not performing so well.
and we have to remember, like, despite Ashley not doing great at the World Championships last March in Helsinki, she was still one of the skaters that helped the US ladies get three spots. Like,
Yes.
no offense to Mariah Bell, but it was because of Ashley's seventh place finish and Karen's fourth place finish that we assured three spots for this year's Olympics or this upcoming year's Olympics.
Yeah.
So, yes, these performances from Ashley have not been the greatest as of late. However, I do believe that she will have it all together by the time US Nationals comes along, and hopefully this will allow her to silence those critics.
Yes. I'll be rooting for her for sure. Okay, are we ready to move on to pairs?
Sure.
All right, so I was pretty shocked that Megan Duhamel and Eric Radford of Canada didn't win here. Instead, they actually won the bronze medal. So it's a little surprising to me that Aliona and Bruno of Germany won, but that's so amazing that they did. They were even trailing after the short program, but were able to keep it together in the long. And I don't want to be so repetitive, so I will say this. I think all of the top three pairs, I loved all of their programs. Just gonna say. And Aliona and Bruno have this unique style together on the ice, like powerful yet like romantic and soft and difficult choreography. I don't know. They cast a magical spell until they make an error on their technical elements. But I'm happy for them that they won and that they will be going to the Grand Prix final for the first time together as a pair.
Yeah, like, okay. So I'm going to be brutally honest in some ways.
Go for it.
So maybe it's just what I kind of grew up watching, but every time I think of pair skating, I think of a unit, Like the guy shows off the girl and the girl shows off the guy, and it's like a unit when they
Hmm.
skate. And I saw that with Alyona and Savchenko and Bruno. And the other two on the podium, I think that they have it at times. And at other times, I just think that it's just two different skaters skating together. And I think that may just be the programs that they are using this season. So, like, I know a lot of people like Megan and Eric, and I love them as well. I like their short program. I'm not a huge fan of them going back to the Muse program. If I were on that team, I would probably go back to the Hometown Glory program, to be honest, the one that they used to win the World Championships in 2016. There, I felt like they were a unit and that they were a pair. However, this program, I just feel like it showcases that they're athletic. However, it doesn't really instill in me that they're a pair team. Uh,
Okay, so is it because no, I just had it in my head now I lost it. Is it because there's not really a romantic connection between the two?
It could be. However, like, was Hometown Glory, were they trying to
No,
be
you're right.
romantic? So maybe it was just the program. And sorry, my headphones came out, people. And I say the same thing about the Chinese team as well, because their Swan Lake show program was more geared towards the female, and it looked like the guy was really powerful, but the music was not helping. However, their Star Wars inspired free program was definitely one of my highlights this season.
They had a moment in that free program.
Yeah,
Like,
and the music works
Hao
for both.
Zhang was into it.
And I think that's important because he's been on the scene for so long, you know, like you want to make sure that his programs are, I don't know, up to the par that we know that they both can skate.
And it was actually close between first and second. 223 overall for the Germans, and then the Chinese got 219. That's not a huge margin overall.
Yeah, so it looks like the Paris competition in 2018 at the Olympics is going to be a tough one. I honestly do hope that Alyona and Bruno are able to capitalize on this moment. I know I've been watching Alyona for many years now. When she
She's
was
a
working,
beast, I swear.
yeah, like, to keep going at it this long, you know, and to have like two bronze medals, I think, with her previous partner, Robin.
Robin?
I'm not going to even try pronouncing people's names tonight. But yeah, to see them win two bronze, but never the gold, I hope that they are able to capitalize on this moment in February and perhaps finally getting that gold medal that she obviously is working really hard towards. But
Yeah.
it should be tough.
The good thing is that each pair that landed on the podium here at Skate America will be going to the Grand Prix final. So we get to see how they compare to Sui and Han and Ksenia Stolbova and Fedor Klimov.
Yeah, I hope that with just on a random note, I guess,
Mhm.
with Megan and Eric, I hope that they compete this Muse program one more time, see if it's well received. If not, take my word and go back to the program.
Yeah, a very uncharacteristic fall on the triplets from Megan in the free program. And it wasn't just the fall that hurt them, it was also an under rotated fall. So I hope everything is okay with them. Do you want to talk about the American pairs? Because it is interesting. We have the international American favorites, Alexa and Chris Knierim, and then we have the reigning U.S. national champions, Heyman Denny, Brandon Frazier. Granted, they did not compete against each other at the last national championships. And then we have uh, newcomers, Deanna Stellato and Nathan Bartholomew, who have really difficult content but lack the exposure and experience. But US nationals, the quality of skating, the bar for that is not set very high. So there's a lot of opportunities for pairs to be national champion. I'll just say this, I think Alexa and Chris should get the Olympic spot. I've been seeing a lot of discussion going around saying that the American pairs can't land their technical elements. No one should be sent to the Olympics until they prove that they can. Okay, so I think a lot of the American pairs are on the same level playing field in terms of technical, but Alexa and Chris have been producing results. And when I say producing, I mean they're the top finishing American pair at a lot of these competitions. I know that people are upset that they're having struggles with their side by side jumps, but we can't just disregard the fact that they're placing higher than the other pairs because they do have higher program component marks, and deservedly so.
And they also have, for the most part, higher technical content as well.
Yeah, they could do the quad twist in the free program.
And I think that I heard that they're going to debut that again at the US Nationals and possibly the Olympics. So I think that this event kind of indicated that the judges, the international judges that is, are in favor of the Canariums making that Olympic team. However, the results between them and Haven Denny and Brendan Fraser, who finished seventh here overall, is quite close. But on a fast forward to next season, I hope that Deanna and Nathan, along with Ashley Kane and Tim Leduc, are able to get in the mix of things because who doesn't want to go back to that time period where Ina and Zimmerman were doing really well in the Grand Prix and also at the World Championships?
Hmm.
We shall see what happens in the future, but it looks like as of right now, the judges are saying Alexa and Chris are, for the most part, a deadlock for the
Yeah,
Olympics.
and we have to remember that the pair, American pair that's chosen to the Olympics, has to compete 4 times. So short and long for the team, and then the individuals. I trust Alexa, and Chris the most to skate for non-disastrous programs. I'm choosing my words carefully here.
Yeah, I think the name of the game will be landing those not quad sal, sorry,
Quad
the
twist.
like, quad twist and then the side by side triple sal cows.
Hmm.
I think that'll be the name of the game for any U.S. pair, and I think that Alexa and Chris can do it. I think that since they're not making the Grand Prix final this season, I think that that's something to work on for the next 2 weeks, and hopefully by the time U.S. Nationals comes along in San Jose, I will be in the audience.
Yes,
So
I'm so jealous.
hopefully, I can see them land that side by side triple sock out and make that Olympic team.
Oh, I'm so jealous to get to be in San Jose. I will be in Boston, so I can't make it. Yes. Let's see. Okay, so that's good for pairs. Let's talk about dance. I didn't watch dance because I had things to do, and I was less intrigued by dance because I expected the Shibutanis to win. So I don't know why this season I'm all about Tessa Virtue and Scott Moore of Canada, and then Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue of the United States. So I was like, the Shibs are going to win. That's fine. I don't need to watch. But it's interesting to pay attention to the scores. So scoring really well, lower than the French and the Canadian, but inching their way up there. What did you make of the whole dance competition here at Skate America?
So as you stated, Justin, I kind of knew that the Shibutanis were going to win here. And just looking through the scores and the program itself, they were definitely miles ahead of the rest of the competition. But no surprise there, really. Like, they are the reigning world bronze medalists, and that's what we would expect from a top team. And I don't know, I'm trying to learn more about ice dance. So, like, I know, like, there's really no deductions unless you do, like, an extended lift, like where you hold someone too long,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is ridiculous, really. But
Yeah,
it's a sport, I guess, and they need to have rules and regulations as well. And
that's true. I'm
yeah,
learning more about levels. Like for Twizzles, you get a higher level when you hold on to your blade as opposed to when you don't, and the amount of rotations you do.
and then they're being synchronized and all that. But clearly, the Shibutanis won here, and I really like their free program this season. And I think that the short dance is starting to grow on me. It was not my initial favorite, but they're definitely being challenged by other U.S. ice dancers, predominantly speaking, the one that you mentioned, Hubble and Donahue.
Yeah, I'm
So,
really excited to see how things will pan out at the Grand Prix final. Like, I think for once, I'm just going to be like, how is dance going at the Grand Prix final? Like, the Canadians or the French? And then what about the Americans? Because I'm not sure if scoring says this, but I think Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue are really rising in the ranks, gaining momentum nationally, whereas the Shibutanis are kind of coasting at the top. And I don't know, like, there's a special power to someone like peaking at the right time, especially in an Olympic season.
it almost seems like Hubble and Donahue has surpassed Chalk and Bates at this point.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm all about Madison Chalk, and then I'm just not drawn to that pair this season for the first time in like 3 years.
Yeah, their free dance doesn't really do anything for me. Like, I love the music of Imagine, but yeah, for some reason it's just not growing on me at all.
Yeah.
While Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue, their free dance is so lively and kind of connects with the audience
Free dance,
and
I'm all about their short dance.
the short dance. Yeah, so I think that they just have a better vehicle this season compared to Chocolate Bates.
All right. Now with dance, did you expect Anna Capellini and Luca Lanotte of Italy to win the silver medal here?
Sort of, but not really. Like, just looking through the results, because it's been a couple days since I watched this, so I knew it was going to be close. Like, but I'm not a huge fan of their free dance. Honestly, like, not a huge fan of the Life is Beautiful free program from them. I was actually hoping that Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier of Canada would do better at this competition.
I was actually surprised they didn't land on the podium.
Yeah, apparently they got docked a lot of levels in the short dance, which really affected them. But they really sold the free program and was able to move up to fourth place. And I expect them to do well in the competitions coming up in January and obviously the Olympics as well.
Is there a chance for them to beat out Weaver and Pogier at Canadian Nationals, though?
I don't think so. Like Weaver and Poche still has a bigger fan base, and it looks like when you have a bigger fan base, the judges tend to reward them more too, especially in domestic competitions. And I think in Canada, it'll always be until they retire Tessa Virtue and Scott Moyer, Weaver and Poge, and then Gillis and Poirier. So I don't expect that to change much this season. But if one, which I think Virtue and Moyer are planning on retiring after this season, I think that they can move up. But right now, it looks like everything is going to stay the same.
I would have to agree with you on that. Anything else you wanted to mention on dance?
Mm, it was kind of shocking to see the Parsons siblings play so low here, you know? Like
How
they
low
were,
did they place? Oh, last place, ninth. Okay.
yeah, I don't think they were expecting that because usually, no offense to China, but usually they don't really do well in the ice dance event.
Hmm.
So they must have got a deduction for something or, yeah, because I don't, again, like, it was shocking because usually the US are pretty good in ice dance these days. So, yeah, not at all surprised by the results. It was kind of nice to see the Russian team do well. I actually like their programs. I actually like the free program, and maybe I'm being
You mean the
biased because
free dance?
free dance.
Mhm.
Yeah, free dance. Sorry, I really like
People have
Rachmaninoff.
corrected me enough times that I know to correct other people.
Exactly. So I like their free dance. I really like the music of Rachmaninoff. So maybe it's a little bit of a bias, but it's a very pretty program, and I'm glad to see that they also made the podium here.
Great. All right. Well, this was a nice discussion, just casual, laid back. That's what I intended. Yeah, Skate America, not the best competition for Americans overall. I mean, I guess Nathan, Chen, and Adam, I guess everyone expects a top American lady to be on the podium.
Well, Brady,
Oh, that's true. You know what? Why am I saying this? This does not make sense. So, great competitions for Americans, minus pairs.
yeah, I think it was just very disappointing to see so many skaters, even non-Americans, withdraw. I
Yeah.
think that's always a bummer for anybody to withdraw from a competition. But again, like to anyone who either had to withdraw or suffered from an injury, we do wish you guys a speedy recovery, and hopefully the next time that we see you compete, that you will be 100% healthy.
I stand by that as well. Okay, everyone, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.